related to the Copenhagen Congress on global warming, it should be also considered other experiences about what is going on with our planet. My experience, for example, is very peculiar. I am working quite a long time in the area of health of places, of landscapes, of the earth as a whole. And my experience with the changes in the earth started in 1997. I had a very peculiar dream in the autumn of 1997. I dreamt that I was walking among a multitude of people. It was a large square. People were running in all directions, like following their daily duties. And I was running in between them and shouting in German language. I was shouting, if I translate it, what I was shouting was that the reality that you see around you does not exist anymore. What you see is only a memory about how the reality was. And I was continuing to shout this complicated sentence till my voice was so strong that I awoke myself. When I awoke, I went out to see what happens. It was middle in the night, and I found out that the radiation of the ground was completely changed. Completely changed in relation to how I was used to the last 10, 20 years. And this happened later without being connecting to a dream, but more often, that I found such a very dramatic changes that were not seen on the physical level. Or maybe yes, I would be called in some place in Holland, I would be called to a place where a strong wind broke down a whole forest. All trees, beautiful, huge trees, lay down, and people were upset. And they asked me how I perceived the place. And I was very astonished. I felt beautiful. The place was magnificent. There was a high quality, like energies that I didn't know before. Very special. And connecting to the dream, it would say that what we perceive looking from outside, what we perceive as reality is maybe just an aspect of reality and not the whole reality. That there are other layers and dimensions that we don't see, we don't perceive, because we are concentrated only on one level, which is the rational level of perception. And obviously, according to my experience, there are big changes happening on some more fundamental levels to reality. So after these experiences, I started very consciously follow what is going on at these levels. And I must say that I was surprised again and again during the last 12 years. A new phenomena arised, and at some moments I could also perceive like a new kind of reality being built. This maybe was the best put together in a dream that I had a few years ago, in my dream, I was going a path down in my hometown, in effect, a street, going down towards the river, and I saw on the other side of the street a very old car. It was really old and like hardly to be usable. And I saw at the front seat the driver was sleeping. He obviously was drunk. And on the back seat, I saw a dog that was in great pain. I listened to this dog, and I thought this dog is not useful anymore. It would be the best to bring it to a doctor and give him some medicine that it could die. But then suddenly this man stood up out of the car, and he was a little bit drunk. Of course, he was drunk, and his legs were not very well carrying him. And he went to the back seat, to the dog. In that moment, I saw that the dog was giving birth to a very nice little dog. And in the next moment, the dog opened the mouth, and I thought he will swallow his little child, but not. She started to lick it, very, very like a mother, beautiful image. And I understood from this dream that we should be careful by judging from outside what is going on, like that it looks like the earth is breaking down and our life is disappearing, so to say, is in great danger. But maybe looking from another perspective, something is in effect ending, but there is something also beginning, but not on the same level. It is on another level. So we should be more attentive and more open-minded, like I was not in the dream, not to be like this, but open-minded and search for alternatives to what is going on. Another dream that I wanted to mention was clarifying this maybe better. I dreamed it a year ago in 2008. It was in Athens, where I was leading a bus traveling through Greece and dedicating to this new aspects, phenomena appearing in the landscape. And the dream went like this, that in my home valley I was looking towards mountains that are around the valley. I was looking toward mountains, and suddenly I see that some stones started to break out of the hill, and they started to roll down, and more stones started to roll, like half of the mountain was coming down, and all this rolled towards my home that I didn't see. It was behind a little hill. So after all this came down, all these stones came down, I was afraid to look at our home, what happened. I thought everything must be broken. And finally I gathered some courage and I went there. But what I saw was very different from what I expected. I saw those stones being how shall I say, they were positioned in a landscape, beautiful landscape, each stone being like an artwork, perfectly positioned and with some trees and bushes and flowers growing around, a proper paradise. And our house was well, nothing happened to our house. And then in the next sequence, I was shown two alternatives. I could see how people were coming with big machines and building huge walls towards the mountain, trying through these walls to hold back the mountain, that it would not crumble anymore. It was gigantic work going on. But then I saw alternative. I saw my hand, and in the hand I had 4 balls made of clay, and a 5th one which was made of very translucent matter like glass. And I saw there was a kind of star carved into this little ball. And my explanation of this dream says that again we see around us danger that the systems of nature, cycles would break down, and this is in effect also going on. But this doesn't mean that we are now obliged to fight against these changes, or that this is the only thing that is sensible, to fight against the changes. I was urged, so to say, to look for another completely different option, which means that the transformation of the earth, that earth is, so what is going on with these earth changes is seeking a new level of evolution that was symbolized by this Garden of Eden that was the result of the crumbling mountain. But also, when I looked into my hand, it was obvious that the solution is not to go into big action, but a kind of meditative solution was there. It said something about the cooperation between different worlds, because if I listen to these balls that I was holding in my hand, I hear a sound of different worlds. I believe that the 4 balls from clay represent the world of 4 elements that I call pluridimensional world, the world that we are living in, not just the material one, but the complete world of our reality composed of the 4 elements. But then there was a 5th ball that I think refers to another world. I call it a fairy world, or it is a parallel world to our evolution. The elemental beings or nature spirits in a way belong to this other reality, and they are the masters of building the world, the reality that we enjoy, the reality that gives life. So obviously there is a path of collaboration not with them. They, the nature spirits, in effect, are just holographic units of the consciousness of the earth, consciousness of Gaia, or also being of the earth, expresses through these units of consciousness that we call nature spirits or elemental beings. Or I talk also about environmental spirits. So there is obviously a possibility that through communication with these parallel worlds, we can find a solution that we will bring something even more beautiful that we know now. This will not get lost, what we treasure so much, the manifested reality, reality manifested in matter. But obviously there is a possibility that the constitution of reality will change, or as I started with the dream that was saying that it changed already. We just didn't notice it, and it is time to open to this new reality.